In this lesson, I'm going to teach you about level visibility tracks and how we can combine them with subsequences to dynamically control what sublevels are loaded for each shot. Hey, welcome to Realtime Workflows. I'm MX Bell. I worked on Deadpool and Wolverine, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, 1917, Hobbs and Shaw, Wheel of Time, Little Mermaid, No Time to Die, tons more. What you're going to get in the channel are my pro tips and how I use Unreal Engine to make films. So let's get started. Let's make some stuff. See you down the road. Welcome back to Realtime Workflows, and yeah, let's get into level visibility tracks. This is a technique taught to me by my pal over at Dimension, Christian Carty. So big shout out to Chris. Let's talk about it. I have been espousing, as you know, you should know by now, the idea of a story world and a real world, and I'm doing it via sublevels. There have been videos about sublevels and about story world and real world, and things like that you can find on the channel. So I would check those out before we cover this. But effectively, my real world is here. I can turn it on and I can turn off my story world, which is effectively the VFX version of that. So this is what it looks like in real life, the place where we're going to shoot the film, as I continue to build it out. But if we were to turn on our story world and turn off our real world, we would see that this is what it's going to look like in the movie. There's a way to control this though in each shot, and it means at the minute I'm turning them on and off manually. So let's cover that. Here's a shot I made a while ago. It's this guy running across the no man's land. There's an explosion and he dives into this thing. Now, obviously, what I want here is my whenever I render this, I don't want to have, unless there's a specific reason, I don't want to have any of my real world on there, because that's not what the point is. The point is obviously to cover what it's going to look like in the movie. So the way to do this is to add a level visibility track, which you can do on add and level visibility track. So if we right click on this, we can either set it to visible or invisible. So that means we're tagging levels that are going to be visible or invisible. I've got my levels tab open, which you get to via window and levels, and these are my sublevels. In here, I can make a comprehensive list in here. And we do it by adding to the array. So we click on add, and now we have basically a field in which we're going to put the levels that we want to be visible. Okay, so we could start by going SL. Now you can see in the top right that I've got SL Story World is currently turned off. It's invisible. Now I'm going to put in here SL Story World, and when I hit enter, you see it's turned it on. And that means now whenever I load this level, if I were to turn off sequencer and you see story world has been turned off again, that's its default state, and when I load this level again, it turns it back on. Now by the same token, I can add a whole slew of elements to this array. An array is basically a list. It's a programming term for a list. It always starts at 0, and so you can add, if I wanted to add something else, let's say I want to add on, well look, SL Trench Night Lights I want on, because it's nighttime, right? So I'm going to add SL Trench Night Lights. And what that will mean is now that whenever I load this level, if I've had night lights turned off because I've been working on a daytime scene, it's gonna load them. At the same time, I could add another level visibility track, and I could change this to be invisible or hidden. And we can then say, like, look, my real world, if my story world is on, I want my real world to be off. So SL underscore real world, SL underscore real world. And now the real world has disappeared, and when we're in the level now, my story world has appeared, and my real world has disappeared. When I close this down, it resets. So that's all cool. That's fine. But do we have to do that every single time, really? No, we don't. In cinematics, I'm going to make a new folder here, and I'm going to call it level viz. Right? And I'm going to create a new level sequence. I'm going to call it an LV for level viz, story world night. Okay. And inside here, I'm going to create a level visibility track. I'm going to do the exact same thing we just did. And I'm going to create another one. And one is going to be visible and one's going to be invisible. Hidden, I should say. And we're going to now specify which levels are going to be on and which levels are going to be off when we're in story world at nighttime. All right, so let's do it. So visible properties, we're going to have, I'm going to bring this down so I can see them all. So we're going to go plus. Right, we definitely want lighting level UD sky. Okay, I'm going to just count them. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's going to be 6 levels. So counting 0, that'll be 5, and then they're going to be, it's going to be SL. All right, and then by the same token, we're going to hide. So we're going to hide real world. And the other thing that we could do as well is I could set an ultra dynamic sky that's nighttime. I could set a nighttime light level too. At the minute, I'm controlling that within the level sequence, but actually it makes more sense when you think about it. In fact, let's do it. Let's take one of these. We'll go finding content browser. I'm going to go duplicate. I'm going to call it light level UD sky night. So with that added, we would then say that our UD sky is actually going to be hidden, and this is going to be UD sky. I need to add the sky. Add that to there. Set it to always loaded. So we're going to say that our UD sky night is on underscore night, and our UD sky, the normal one, the daytime one, is going to be hidden. LL UD sky. So we've got so we're hiding our UD sky. We're also going to hide our, because this is a story world, so we're also going to hide our SL real world. We're going to hide SL VFX because that's basically a real world thing. It's me putting blue screens in and stuff, which we don't want to show up unless we specifically do want to show up. So SL VFX. Okay, there we go. So now we've called this level visibility story world night. And if we come back to our level, which is here, we can turn off our level visibilities. We will go to our. I'm gonna delete ultra dynamic sky because I don't need to set. All that's doing is setting the time of day in here, so I don't need to do that. And what we will do now is we're gonna add a subsequence track, and we're gonna click here and add our level visibility story world night. And now we've got everything set properly, although it's not quite working, is it? So something's gone wrong. Let's just see if we can figure out what's going on. So we're missing the story world somehow. It's not being loaded. Yeah, SL story world. So you need to add another one for SL story world. There it is. And we can also make sure that we go into our ultra dynamic sky, which now that it's loaded, we can see we've got this one, and that exists in ultra dynamic sky night. And we can make sure that we just change this to be nighttime. We don't need to key it anymore. It's just nighttime. We'll make it 0. Okay. I'll probably set that to 24 just because everything else is, but it's fine. Okay, and then back to this. And so there we go. And now when I close this down, it resets. Now ultra dynamic sky, it's worth noting, will always need to be refreshed once it does it. So we hit refresh and it loads it. I'm going to keep ultra dynamic sky night set to off by default. And the same with story world. I want my default version to be basically what's real. So I'll turn night lights off as well by default. So the level visibility is over here. That's kind of like the default setting. I should point out that my trench cesium level, if you'll recall from a video several weeks ago, as far as I know, that's crashing. It's crashing version Unreal 5.6. So I've got that set to blueprint mode, which means it'll never load unless I code it into the level blueprint. But it's there just because I've got it set up and I don't want to lose it. But it could easily. In fact, let's just get rid of it. There it goes. Okay. So anything that's invisible here is by default. And anything then we're going to control on using level visibility tracks made in subsequences. So just for completion, I'm going to duplicate this. Let's call it Story World Day. And I'm going to change this now. So we're going to take out, well, we're going to flip these so that it's ultra dynamic sky normal here, and this one will be ultra dynamic. The hidden one will be ultra dynamic sky night. Sky underscore night. So I'm hiding I'm hiding each one, and then if in my scene suddenly we decide actually we're going to make this in the daytime, what I'm going to do is I'll just right click this and change this to day, and there it is. It's daytime. Okay, and by the same token, I'll make a real world version. So let's go back to our cinematics and level viz. Let's make a day. So we'll go duplicate day, and we'll call this real world. So RW. And so by that notion, then we're gonna go properties. And we're gonna call this, so call that real world is on, and in here we will say that our story world is hidden. Okay, I will make a real world night version as well, but effectively we're going to come down to our sequence, and now if I want to render this with, I want to see what it looks like in the daytime, in the real world during the day, we will come down here and we will go level RW day. And there's what it looks like in the real world. And we're controlling multiple levels, switching them on and off, and we'll set these dynamically. There'll be one of these in every shot now that I do. And because I'm just going to specify, actually, this is a daytime scene. This is a nighttime scene. Incidentally, when we add our subsequence to our level, so for this shot, I want it to be in the daytime. We see it's not long enough. Okay, now we can make the source one. We can make it 1,000 frames or whatever. But the easiest thing to do is to just right click on it and go to properties and check can loop, and then we can just drag it out for as long as we need it to do it. And one other thing to remember that's cool, if you have a sequence where you're jumping effectively between levels, right? We did this on a project where we had multiple environments and we needed to in the edit we were jumping between them. The thing that you can't do in an edit is change level, right? But what you can do is control which levels are visible via the level visibility sequence. So let's say I've got my bunker level, or even my forest edge level, and I want to cut between there and the trenches. I could have all of them loaded, technically, or put all of them in one master level, and then control which ones are visible, basically which level's being loaded, using level visibility tracks. I don't know if I'll do that, but that is one way. That is one way to control it. So super useful, and I hope that's of help. See you on the next one.